I've liked his progression so far. I have not been totally sold on everything about him, but I've liked his progression. And this is where I stand with Jalen. If anybody can overcome the deficit as a person, as a player, as a person that works hard, is him. Everything that I've seen this summer and everything I've seen at practice and/or conversations with people that I hold dear to my heart, I believe that he's trending in the right areas, and so I believe that he's going to do well enough at the minimum to be a playoff team. If he plays really well, Eagles could be going to Super Bowl.
Well, let's ask the expert because he's ready.
All right, headed to the expert.
Let's bring up Jason Avant. Jason Avant, who played the position
There
at the highest level. First off, man, welcome back, Jason. Good to see you.
Hey, Rob, Derek, how you doing, Barrett? Everybody good?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Good, man.
Jason, we're good. And I'm sure you heard a little bit of this debate when you jumped in that we were having with Ray. I guess the question is, and Derek, I think, summed it up really well. Nobody's questioning the effort that he's putting in this year, right? But we really aren't seeing a ton of results. And it's very limited in what you see anymore anyway with preseason and whatnot. But where do you stand on where things are with him?
Well, he's had the best camp that he's had all year, or in his career. Not all year, but the best camp that he's had in his career. So it is getting better. The fans are not seeing the results on the field in this preseason, but he's definitely playing better than he has in the past. Jalen Reagor's issue when it comes to just receiver playing in the National Football League goes back to his ability to not be able to make people move out of their spot. Whenever you see him play, he always has someone near him at the catch point. So it's always a contested catch. He's either getting pushed out late, or the ball is overthrown, or it has to be some heroic catch in order for him to make a play. And that usually tends to be that he's losing at the line of scrimmage. And the guys that can win at the line of scrimmage, the Devontae Smiths, the Jerry Judys, Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams is the best in the league at it. Those guys win at the line of scrimmage. And if you don't win at the line of scrimmage, it's going to make your job extremely hard. You have to have otherworldly hands in order to win in this league without that. And when I say otherworldly hands, we're talking about Larry Fitzgerald, who had a problem at times winning at the line of scrimmage, but he was such an amazing catcher at the catch point, and Jalen Reagor is not Larry Fitzgerald.
So Jason, let me ask you this, because you and I have talked about this a number of times, and I've heard you on different platforms talk about this. You have always admitted that, hey, look, I was not the most gifted receiver out there, but you were not going to outwork me. You were not going to move me out of being in a conversation and making it difficult for an organization to keep me. So is it more of a mindset? What goes into that equation when you know you have to work that much harder than that guy standing next to you, even though you feel that you're producing better than him?
I think it's that question is kind of loaded for me because it all depends on where you're from. It all depends on your past. It all depends on a bunch of those things. Me being a fourth round pick and me feeling like no one respected my game and actually what I had to overcome so much growing up, it was an automatic, fuel to the fire for me. These guys always don't have this. Jalen Reagor's been the most talented guy on every team that he's ever been on. That's not true for me. So I can't speak to his mindset. Maybe he knows what hard work is, but doesn't know it from alley perspective, whereas you and it's this guy and it's just you and him and you have to overcome these guys. And so I don't know what hard work is to him, but when it comes to getting better at your craft and making people move out of their spot, some people are better at it than others. And if you've never had to do that, it's going to take you multiple years to do it. And unless you're a great athlete, I can think of some of those guys like Percy Harvin didn't really get much man-to-man coverage in college, Jeremy Maclin, but they were such great athletes that they were able to overcome it. I don't necessarily know if Jalen Reagor is that level of athlete, but I hope he is. I want him to do well.
I want him to do well also.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I go out and I watch practice, and I see guys that have it. I see guys that, are at another level. And, you got Smitty is just a great route runner. He understands how he has the best way for him to catch a ball is if he creates separation. So that's what he does. Then he has another example he can watch is a guy like A.J. Brown. He knows he's gifted as far as being able to have I said most people say 50-50 catch radius. His is 70-30.
Yeah.
He can just Debo receivers and take the ball. So those are two prime examples on how you need to go out there and run your routes and try to find that balance of what you need to do. I don't see him working on those type of things. So to me, I'm thinking to myself, if I lack something, I would work on it. I can remember sitting back and I would go back and watch, I hate to say that, but I would go back and watch film on Eric Williams, watch his game, Anthony Munoz. I would watch players that were all world and implement some of what they had to my game, which made me a better player than I really was because I'm doing things that I saw work and it started working for me. Why is he not taking the example from guys like that are tangible right there in front of him and trying to use and implement to his game?
Yeah, he has that. My person was Webster Slaughter. Like I got a Webster Slaughter one-on-one.
Oh, good call. Oh, Cleveland Brown.
Yeah. I got a Webster Slaughter. I got in my hands a hold of a Webster Slaughter, and it changed my game forever. I never had to worry about separation ever again. And I saw how Jerry Rice stole a lot of his techniques. And I had Jerry Rice tape as well. And that Jerry Rice tape, I actually uploaded when I was a coach there. I uploaded a Jerry Rice tape and a Webster Slaughter tape to the receiver profile. So I know that they have those tapes, and I mentioned them multiple times. So I think when you're ultra gifted and you're ultra talented, it's kind of too late to get to the pros and start learning how to work.
Wow.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
That's a great
Let me ask you something, Jason, as a guy who
well, hold on, Rob, because when you say like Devontae Smith, he had superior coaching in college in comparison to TCU. Some of the best receivers, and then he had Saban being a dog to him all the time because if he can treat Julio Jones like an asshole, so to speak, right?
Right.
And everybody else, the Calvin Ridleys, the Amari Coopers, everyone else that falls in line after it, there's a standard there. So there's a comfort with hard coaching. I don't necessarily know if Reagor had that.
That's interesting. If you could impart advice to him, Jason, what would you say to him? Is it a matter of that, or are we beyond that at this point?
I think personally, I think that he needs to change the scenery. I think that.
Thank you. That's what I said. Thank you.
I think it's too deep of a hole in the city of Philadelphia because I think that the mindset has already been determined by the fans and the culture, maybe even the organization. This type of player that's so finicky and so sensitive does not work in this town. It just doesn't work. And if I have any advice for him to salvage it, if he can come out, I've never seen anyone in his situation turning around. Have you guys?
No, I haven't. You're right.
No, not from a football perspective.
I don't know many. I don't know many that has been able to turn it around in his situation. And so what I would say to him if he did have the mindset, hey, I want to make it work in this city, is the first thing I do is just shut up. Just shut up. Let someone else run your social media. Don't attack fans. Don't send subliminal messages. Just go on about your day. Let it go. Turn off your radio. Turn off your social media account or whatever it is you have to do. And then get to the point where you're not because if you're a sensitive person when it comes to social media, do you not think that he's sensitive when the coaches are giving him correction?
Great point. That's a great point.
That's why I wanted him on today. See, that's why.
You know what I mean? Because you can't turn that on and off. You can't turn on and off winning. You can't turn it off work ethic. You can't turn it on and off these things. So if that's a chink in his armor, it's showing up in other areas. And if the coach doesn't feel like he can coach you without placating to you or babying you, it's hard for you to get better. So I would say to him is that learn how some way to take constructive criticism, not as an attack and as something that's helping you to get better. I think that's the solution and the remedy for him.
Well, that's key, man, because you got to be thick-skinned, especially here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is not necessarily one of the best places for rookies to come in all actuality, because I mean it's a big city, and they have fans that care. They have fans that feel a responsibility to be the best fans they can, but in the same thing, they're also asking for you to be the best player you can be. And when you're not the best player you could be, the fans can sniff it out. And if they can sniff it out, they smell blood. They're like sharks in the water. They're going to continue to do that. You can't have thin skin and be here in Philadelphia, because I've been around guys that were and didn't make it. But I also saw, I had a guy, that he didn't have necessarily have thick skin, but he understood that this city, is what it is, and he worked good. That was Mike Mamula. He got drafted in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And, he didn't necessarily play up to expectations, but he also didn't play down to what, everybody was saying he was. But he found that happy median and became a pretty good player here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Barrett. And I think from an organizational standpoint, I think that the earnest is on the organization not to experiment too much in those first 2 rounds, because now you put a player in a situation in this city that is hard to overcome. And I think that the last draft, they kind of stuck with the game plan. Like it's easier to chew if you draft DK Metcalf or you draft Justin Jefferson and they not pan out, because it's a consensus around the league and also an overall fan world that those are the best available players now. But if you go in and you experiment and those people don't pan out, not only from an organization standpoint, you look bad, but also it's hell for that player here.
Yeah, you look at Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith the same way. They drafted because they want to pass rush.
I'm not telling you to not do your. I think that you experiment in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. The first 2 rounds should be solid.
I'll say
Marcus Smith was asleep, bro, because he didn't think he was getting drafted to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
He was asleep on draft day when they woke him up out of sleep to draft him.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Jason, let me ask you, I don't know if it was as big when you played, but the open practices have really become the thing, certainly in lieu of even preseason games. Pros, cons, are you in favor of them sort of becoming more the measuring stick in the preparation for the season, or do you think preseason games still have merit?
No, I think that the open practice is the way to go, because you get one less preseason game, so you need to create competitive environments. And based on the way that the team practices with this hour and a half, now you get together with a coach who could be practicing 2 hours. So now you guys agree on an hour and a half practice, hour 45 practice, and it's competitive that entire time. So I firmly agree with these practices because of the lack of pure football that's being played. So I agree with it. Now, with that being said, I would not be practicing with the Patriots. Like, I don't understand the Raiders and the Patriots pack. The Patriots going to steal the information, right? So, like there are certain teams that you just like, yo, I'm not doing anything, because they're going to have a cameraman somewhere stealing video.
And Josh McDaniels should know that better than anybody else, right? Exactly. With the Raiders now.
Yeah. but it does hurt you. It does hurt you because all those teams keep that film. They keep that film and they're going to know a little bit more intimate details about your protocols and your system. So there could be a chink in your armor somewhere in the future. Like, I don't think AFC teams should play AFC teams and NFC play NFC. It should be cross division for sure.
Interesting.
Hey, Jason, let me ask you this: how do you feel about what you've seen so far from a Jason Gannon defense? We know it's going to be. Jonathan Gannon. I'm sorry, Jonathan Gannon. We know it's going to be vanilla for the most of the summer, but do you have some reservations about what this defense is going to look like with better personnel?
Well, if anybody's heard me speak about it, I'm I'm not ultimately high on Jonathan Gannon. Just the way that he calls defenses. I think that you have to take wins as a defensive coordinator. You can't just sit back and allow players to not allow people to just do what they want. But with better players, it kind of puts you in a situation where your defense can win some one-on-one matchups. We haven't had that privilege in the past couple of years to win one-on-one matchups consistently, even with our D-line at times. And we've always held our D-line as a really, really good D-line, but our D-line consistently last year did not win one-on-one matchups. And hopefully with Jordan Davis being in the middle and being able to eat up 2 blockers, it kind of puts guys on an island. So hopefully he can get what he wants. But I can tell you this, with this roster and this defense, if we see vanilla defense the entire time and it's not working, the fans are going to be pissed toward the end of the season. So vanilla defense better work. It has to, because you have no excuses with personnel. All the rumbling is that, you got guys discontent. I don't have the right people. All that stuff is out the window, because this is the most talented, top 2-3 talented most defenses in the league. So you got no excuses. You may say something about a safety, you may have something with linebacker, but our linebackers have played stellar, lights out. Like, the linebacker group is solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me say this then. So when you look at this whole situation with this team and the way it was constructed, the way it was built, offensively, I think we have enough. Defensively, I know we have enough. Special teams, the only thing that we don't know about. But where do you stack this team as far as in the NFC? Not just the NFC East, but the NFC.
Talent-wise and roster-wise, it's up there. Like, it's the Eagles have a top 5 NFL roster.
Yes, exactly.
Like, yes, from top to and I am right along with the fans when you do a bad job with Howie in the front office. They've done an amazing job turning this roster around from a 4-12 team 2 years ago. An amazing job, and it does not happen this quickly after losing a franchise quarterback and all those things. It just does not happen this quickly, and they've done it and turned it around really, really fast. So this team is a top 5 overall roster. So if Jalen Hurts plays well, there's no reason to believe that the Eagles cannot win the NFC total.
Where are you with him, though? Where are you with
I've liked his progression so far. I have not been totally sold on everything about him, but I've liked his progression, and this is where I stand with Jalen. If anybody can overcome the deficit as a person, as a player, as a person that works hard, is him. Everything that I've seen this summer and everything I've seen at practice and/or conversations with people that I hold dear to my heart, I believe that he's trending in the right areas. And so I believe that he's going to do well enough at the minimum to be a playoff team. If he plays really well, the Eagles could be going to Super Bowl.
Jason, what's the best way to get him going early? He's got another unbelievable wide receiver in A.J. Brown. We know they lean heavily on the running game. How would you like to see them approach it to start the season?
Fans are not going to want to hear this, but I think that they have to approach the season like they did last year. And you got to give them the chance to throw the ball. We know this team can dominate you running the ball. And I think that the question mark is him throwing. So he has to get a large amount of throws in order to get this down. And also, when you bring in A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith, which is a first rounder. You have Jalen Reagor, which is a first rounder. You have Quez. You've invested so many assets at the receiver position over the last 3 years. How can you not try to throw the ball? Because that's what you want to do from an organization standpoint. That's what you want. They did not want to be the number 1 team in rushing last year. They did not want that. They wanted to be the number 1 team in passing. Now, can we lean on that in order to make wins happen? But in order for him to develop, you got to throw the hell out of the ball the first couple weeks.
Got to, man. And I was talking to these guys about it. I've actually bought in on Jalen Hurts being able to take this team to another level. We were comparing the two rosters between Miami and the Eagles. I feel as though we have the better quarterback, better offense, the better defense. They do have the cheetah, man, but that's just one player.
They had Cheetah and Waddle too. Waddle.
I'll take Smitty over Waddle.
There you go.
Day.
See, there you go. Tell him, Jason.
I'll take Smitty over Waddle every single day.
Tell him, Jason.
Twice on Sunday, because when they were
Waddle. Listen, I love Smitty. I'm not going to shortchange Waddle though, because Waddle was basically the number 1 for them last year and had a great season that nobody knows about.
That's right. Tell him.
But I'm saying this: when they were on the same roster at the same time, who was the number 1? I'll wait.
That's one. Yeah, he was number one, but it was mainly because Waddle was hurt, though.
Huh?
It was mainly because Waddle was hurt.
No, Waddle got hurt towards the end of the season.
No,
my man. No.
Yeah, look it up.
Look
it up. I'm telling you. Jay,
we're going to agree to disagree on this one. But what I'm saying, because I don't want the Eagles fans or anyone else to think that I'm anti Devontae Smith. Right. I love Devontae Smith. I love his game. What I'm saying is the Eagles overall, probably receiver core, you got to give it to them because they got Quez, and you have the Eagles literally have 8 good enough pros on their receiver core in order to make this team. They only going to leave with 6. So so top to bottom they're better. So
you say they're going to go in with 6?
I think that they have to go in with 6. I think they have to. The reason is that I think that the kid Britain is
Covey.
Yeah.
I think I think he may make the team as a returner.
But I like Kane though. I mean, why isn't Kane?
Deion Kane's got to make this team.
I mean,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I know that they were really, really high on Britain at one point, and because of his return ability.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the only way that you make this team at that position. Receivers 3 through at least 4 through 6, usually 3 to 6, got to be a valuable asset on special teams.
Interesting. Jay, so we were talking about this earlier. You were a guy who played in your fair amount of preseason games. The trend's kind of going the other way. Yeah. Tampa's going to play their starters, their healthy guy, including Brady, with an offensive line that's a little bit sketchy. So different strokes for different folks. I get it. Where do you stand on it, on playing your starters?
Brady old school, so that came down from him. That wasn't Todd Bowles. That was a Brady decision.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah.
That right there is just old school. I'm a football player. We play football, and we can't, use so many precautions that stops us from playing football. Right. And you have to acknowledge the science behind a lot of these things, because they did do research that says, early in training camp through the first couple weeks, week 3 of the season, that there's a large amount of soft tissue injuries, a large amount of, ligament damage and things like that. So they kind of taken back the reins from that. So I don't think it'll hurt any team. The reason I don't is because the other 32 teams, the other 31 teams are usually doing the same schedule that you are. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that is going to hurt them. Will it be raggedy football for the fans the first couple weeks? Yes.
Horrible football.
It'll be some bad football for you're going to see punt returns and kick returns and stuff like that. Well, you may not see that because they moved the kick return, so you may see punt returns.
Yeah, it's because you don't get that many kick returns anymore.
Yeah, you don't get many kickoffs, but you may see punt returns. So you'll see some raggedy tackling and stuff like that. But probably week 4 or 5 would be perfect.
Interesting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think.
Do I think that this generation gets a pass? Yes, but I'm not mad at it. We collectively bargained for that. We wanted this, so I'm not going to be mad at them. I wanted to be chilling and have an hour practice and not playing a preseason game. I wanted that, so I'm not going to get mad at these young whippersnappers.
Jason, I'm so jealous, man, because I'd have played until I was 50. I'm 50, right? I turned 50 in May. I'd have played till at least 40, at least.
Listen, I think so too, but I think that they would have came out with some situation like they do now. Like they incentivize teams basically to get their rosters younger, because they got to spend so much of the cap, and they don't want to spend their cap on old players, so they make sure that they sign these guys quick. So we probably would have been out of there for other reasons, not play.
I'd have been long snapping. I went in and walked jerseys. You know what I'm saying? I've been handing out socks, then practicing, whatever it took.
Udonis Haslam of the NFL.
That's right. Just signed again for another year.
Unbelievable. I'm like, this dude haven't played.
He played 53. He played 53 minutes.
Why
in
would
the
you
past
just name
5
him
years.
A coach? What do you have to give a roster spot up for him? That's what I don't get.
They want to give it. I know the league minimum is probably like $2 million. $2-3 million.
Yeah. He signed a deal for $3 million.
Unbelievable.
$3 million, and he's still on the squad, man.
Jace, we love talking to you, man.
It's always great.
Well, hopefully we do it again soon.
Always appreciate you.
Yeah, but we wish you all the best, man. It's good talking.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Jason. Take care. All right, all the best. He has great insights, man.
Yeah,
he was really good on Reagor.
Yes.
He's a thinking man's athlete.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's exactly right with that, man. Because I hadn't thought about the aspect of coaching earlier in his career. Bro, they were the worst at TCU, man. Patton was the worst coach ever. I think he's still there.
Oh, Gary Patterson. I think he's gone now. Yeah.
He's left.
Yeah,
and he was the worst, man. Never gave the guy a quarterback. Offensively, all he wanted to do, he never cared about what happened on the offensive side of the ball. It was all about his defense. He would call the defense himself. He just wanted the defense to be successful.
Right.
He didn't worry about anything that happened on the offensive side of the ball, which was crazy to me. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Absolutely. It's like Buddy Ryan was that way with the defensive side, and then the offense, Randall will go figure it out and let the defense make plays.
Right.
All right, so we come back. I'll give you a little update on Bryce Harper, what's going on with him. Mentioned the Jeffrey Lurie thing. The Lakers make a trade, an NBA rookie with a major injury. We'll give you an update on the story we talked about yesterday with Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow. Tell you what happened on this date back in '85. Good birthdays, good movies, all that kind of stuff. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Barrett, Derek, and Rob.